pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on the agenda is a public hearing for a local law imposing the repurposing and reuse floating overlay district for 6701 Buckley Road. We have to open this public hearing, or is this is ours? Do we have a motion to open the public hearing? Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Public hearing is open. I wasn't sure if we had previously opened this public hearing. So public hearing is open. Do we have anybody signed up to speak?
We do have two people. I'm gonna let Gregory, how do you say the last name?
Stromo.
Let it go first in a second.
So you're the applicant, you're representing the applicant, and then we have somebody else that's willing to speak on the project separately.
I figured the questions might be answered.
That's who, if you don't mind me, who is it?
Clifford Mayo.
Clifford? Okay. Clifford, if you don't mind, after the presentation, if your questions are answered, fantastic, or if you have questions that might be helpful for your comments, or would you like to speak first? Okay, sounds good. Go ahead.
Thank you. So I figured I'd speak first just to give everybody kind of a little summary of the project and give you guys a feeling for what we're proposing to do on the project. It's currently I'm going to call it an abandoned hotel for the most part. It was underneath getting through construction during COVID. COVID hit. It went under, and it's now in a state of complete disrepair where it's half gutted and that sort of thing. So the options are either to restore it back into a hotel, which really doesn't meet today's standards, or to repurpose it into something new and I think a little bit exciting. So we're looking at converting the hotel into 92, I think, 94 apartments. They're primarily one bedrooms for the most part. There's a couple studios, a couple 2 bedrooms in there, and it's being done just because of the way the hotel lays out, the rooms lay out, but also because of the market. We're very familiar with the market, and they know what will lease. The hotel has 2 floors, and it has a large banquet facility in this location here, which we partially removed to facilitate. This will be the apartment units on both floors.
You're proposing to remove part of it.
Yes. The apartments will each first floor apartment will have an outdoor patio area fenced in. Parking will be removed along the building for the most part because there's more parking that we need. The center canopy, which covers the courtyard, that will be removed and open. So it would be restored back to an open courtyard.
There's a pool in there currently, correct?
There's a pool in there that will be removed. Yep. And the banquet facility will be part of it will be moved to open up the courtyard to the street level, so it can be walked in basically. And the banquet facility will be converted into management offices, support facilities like things like gyms and that sort of thing, and also a casual restaurant, about 5,000 square feet on the first floor. The canopies will be removed. You'll see some funky roof structures. That's all going to be cleaned up. And again, parking will be reduced, so quite a bit more impervious area will be removed, and will be nicely landscaped. So it fits in very, very well with your overlay district criteria, and it appears to be exactly what the town has been looking for a project like this, something that facilitates it being redeveloped into something that's modern, useful, and attractive and fits into the community. A lot of pedestrian facilities have been incorporated, sidewalks, connectivity. We're hoping that there'll be maybe some connectivity down this private drive here and stuff like that. And the facade will be redone, windows will be redone. It's quite an extensive renovation. So currently, the courtyard has this It's 2 stories, the courtyard has maybe 2.5, almost 3-story high roof structure which covers the entire courtyard. So that's going to be removed so that the inner units are actually opened up to the atmosphere.
That would satisfy some closed questions. If they removed if they created an access from the courtyard and removed that roof, that would satisfy some of your concerns that you had brought previously, correct?
Yes, sir.
That would bring it in compliance for residential.
Yep, yes, sir.
Are you done? Is that the end?
Unless you have any particular questions that, you know.
Well, I don't, I'm gonna pose one other question, and I'm gonna let the gentleman speak, okay?
Sure.
And then we'll go from there. You guys are applying for an RROD. Do we have an alternative zoning that might better fit this than an RROD? Is there,
It's a mix, no, I mean, ROD allows for mixed use, which is what they want. They want to mix commercial or residential.
but an R5 kind of satisfies that, right? Would be an R5?
It would fit under an R5.
And it's just one restaurant attached to the building.
Yeah, it's R5 what, one manor?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, it's R5, but I have to take a closer look at it with Mark.
So I don't have necessarily, and the only reason I'm bringing that up, and I know the attorney is here for it, and that's kind of why I'm mentioning it now, is I'm not sure, maybe you can speak briefly, or just even one sentence, to help me and the town board understand why you want an ROD over an R5.
If I may, Mr. Supervisor.
Yeah.
Generally, we see the overlay district as kind of a secret weapon that the town can use. I think it fits nice with development planning, and to that degree, I think either category would work with what's proposed in that commercial space. So I don't think it's material really to us. We did apply with the expectation of overlay, but I don't think it's actually a material difference as far as our plans. And while I had the floor, I did want to add, for years it's been an attractive nuisance, and thank God that's been shut down since it was acquired at auction, and about $80,000 in delinquent taxes were cleared up, etc. But as to the issue of which zoning classification, I think either would satisfy, but the overlay would be preferred.
Okay, that's very fair. I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't something that I was missing, why you were specific with the ROE. The gentleman, what's his name? Clifford? If you don't mind, how we'll do this is you're just gonna come right up here. You get 3 minutes to speak. You can ask your questions as well, but we're gonna note the questions after your 3 minutes are up. Feel free to move that so the sun's not in your eyes. After your 3 minutes are up, we'll note your questions and you'll be done, and then he can address those questions, and then the town board may have some comments and questions as well, okay? Floor is yours. And if you don't mind, for the clerk's sake, just provide your name and address for the record. Go ahead, sir.
I didn't catch all the numbers of the apartments. You're talking a lot of studio apartments. It seems like very few. Looks like you're talking about a high density living area. But across this driveway from me, I'm not sure if I'm really happy with that. How many apartments are you talking about again?
74 one-bedroom apartments, 3 two-bedroom apartments, and 15 studios.
And what's the rate going to be charged for those things?
They're market rate. There's no, there's no income qualifications or anything. There's no special program that we're seeking. It's market rate apartments.
Wouldn't necessarily be low-income people moving in
No.
market rate?
No.
But it seems like there's an awful lot of congestion with vehicles and humans living there compared to what it was at the hotel. A lot of traffic out on the Buckley Road, which is already not a fun place to turn left or right during any kind of rush hours.
Sure. And those are questions that we will have to deal with during the planning board process, regardless of what redevelopment is. As far as, hotel rooms, there was a little bit more than that, many units worth of hotel rooms. And also those banquet facilities. So you had large banquet facilities, things like that, generate a lot of traffic during conferences or weddings, that sort of thing. And late night, what's gonna be going in there is basically, either a lunch, breakfast lunch place or breakfast, lunch, early dinner type casual restaurant.
You're gonna place a restaurant in there also, is that what you're saying?
I'm sorry, what was that?
You're gonna put a restaurant of some sort in that building also besides the residences?
Yes. So it's approximately 5,000 square foot restaurant, which will go in the area that's the banquet. Like currently, this entire area here is banquet facility. A significant portion will be management, leasing, and support facility for the apartments, and then the rest of it will be a restaurant. So 5,000 square feet sounds like a lot, but currently there's quite a bit more than that just as far as banquet facilities go.
Really don't want to sound like any type of modification and improvement in town for residents and tax holders, but this will be an awful lot of congestion with automobiles and humans coming and going. Me, living next door, what's the future
So,
parts of my house might be.
So I'm gonna just interject for two reasons. One, time is up, but I also wanna make a point that I think you had mentioned, and I just want it to be overlooked. Tonight, we are considering the zone change of the property, but it does not approve the project on the property. They will have to go through, depending on, that's one of the other questions, what I would like to consider with the ROD versus the R5. They are going to have to go through a proper site plan approval. They will likely have to do traffic studies, etc. All of that will take place in front of our zoning and planning board separately. They just can't even get to that stage unless the town board either approves or denies the zone change. So with that, I think a lot of your questions, while I think they're extremely good, I think they are probably the better venue for them is going to be in front of the planning board when we get to that time. And then also we'll have the town engineers and obviously Mr. Strohmeyer, they'll be having conversations more relevant to the build out of the project and how that impacts you.
Yeah, and in addition, of course, the parks have suggested go way up in the back of the private driveway, so that's gonna have to be modified down the road or something.
Well, that is again another scenario that I think needs to be fleshed out in front of the planning board if this gets approved for their zone change.
So if all that happens, then we want to have a lot of humans around there
That's right.
and vehicles.
I appreciate your time, sir. Okay?
Mr. Supervisor, if I could just make one point for Clifford. There's a project quite similar that was constructed in 2020, Tulip Ridge, by the same developers with actually more units, more individuals. And if you wanted to compare the two with your concern about congestion, you'll see that there's not much congestion in that area if you wanted to compare the two.
Where's that again?
Tulip Ridge, it's right on, what is it, 1201
Vine Street,
Vine Street? Yeah, yeah.
right before the throwaway, just north of the throwaway.
So, with this, are there any questions, before we close the public hearing, are there any other questions from the public? Are there any questions that the town board members would like to present during the public hearing?
I just have one. What's the I guess, estimated timeline that you're kind of seeing, especially on the construction piece of it on the outside? Because obviously that's a piece that residents, are always concerned of extra noise and stuff there.
A project like this is gonna typically take about 18 months from, we pull the permit until we're done. There's obviously there's a lot that's already there, but there's also a lot of units that have to be redone. There's a lot of site work that has to be redone, exterior work. It all takes time.
Any other questions? Okay. What I think I would be willing to do if the rest of the town board is comfortable with that is we could close the public hearing, but I think we may want to hold off, and I know this may not be what you guys want, but I would like to have a conversation with my staff regarding the ROD versus the R5 specifically, and it might be worthwhile to you guys as well that due diligence is done on that. So I'm willing to close the public hearing. Joe, if we close the public, will there have to be another public hearing on the R5?
Yeah, because it's a different law.
What I'm considering is, what if we then keep this public hearing open with the consideration of the potential R5 instead of an ROD? Pretty much.
So that we don't have to have another public hearing?
Yeah, a joint if they could send a joint application so that way the town board can.
I'm okay with that. I think
Okay,
that would-
so then what we'll do then, and for your guys' sake, is keep this public hearing open, so that way the town board can consider, the potential ROD or R5. And we will have the continuation of this public hearing at our next board meeting, July, oh my, is it, you sure, July 28th? That is our next town board meeting, and at that board meeting, 28th. And at that town board meeting, the town board will, hear the public hearing, close the public hearing, and make a determination, a definite determination on that day. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I just want to just real quick, so will we be able to still, if more questions come up in this month time period, will we have a chance to ask more questions?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because if we close this public hearing, we would have to have a separate public hearing for the R5 anyways.
Okay.
So, and it would extend this out longer.
Okay.
So by doing it this way, we're gonna be able to hear questions of a potential R5. Please submit a second application for an R5. So that way we can kind of hear them both in unison and make like a decision at our next board meeting on one or the other or neither if the board decides, okay? So I think it's just a more efficient way to wrap this up for you guys and for the board. Joe, you're comfortable with that?
Yes.
Board members, are you all comfortable with that? All right, so we'll keep this public hearing open until our next meeting. Thank you, and I appreciate it. Next is a public hearing for a local law for change of zone from O2 to C2 at 806 Old Liverpool Road. Do we have a motion to open this public hearing? Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Public hearing is now open. Is there anybody signed up to speak?
Yep, I have James Fox.
James, we've met.
Yes.
I'm gonna speak briefly and see if there's questions. And if you feel compelled that you do want to speak, you're more than welcome to after that. But I had mentioned in our last meeting, this is Mount Paz, Capricorn, and you guys are relocating, to a larger spot that is gonna, because you guys are doing so well, which I like to hear. It's a location currently that could use a better use, a greater use. You guys intend on fixing up the site, making it look better. It'll be good for you. You guys actually have some retail traffic there currently. Do you plan on increasing retail traffic potentially? Mark, are they gonna need to go through site plan?
Yes.
Okay, so you're gonna need to go through site plan on that, be irrespective. With that, I spoke last time, I'm speaking here now, this property is serviced better as commercial. It's used in a commercial fashion currently. It's the doggy, what's the name of it?
There was a doggy daycare or
Some type of dog, yes, building, but it was already a commercial use, so it was not zoned properly for the use that was in place currently. I think the town would be doing its justice by zoning it properly and then allowing a successful business that's been in the town to continue flourishing in this town. So, with all of that said, is there anybody from the public that would like to speak on this? There's not. Are there any concerns or questions from this board? There's not. Do you want to talk, or are you comfortable not talking? Alright, that's fine. That's what I wanted to go through. So with that, Joe, we already have an opinion from the county?
Yeah, no adverse impact.
No adverse impact from the county's planning. With that, then, we have a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And do we have a motion to change the zone?
Before we have to do secret.
We do have to do secret? Yeah. Go ahead, Joe. Well, do we have a motion to declare us? Go ahead.
Motion to declare this is an unlisted action and declare town board as lead agency.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Go ahead, Joe.
I'll read through the questions. If there's no answer, it's no small impact. The proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulation. The proposed action result in a change in the use or density of use of land. The proposed action create the character or quality of the existing community. The proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of critical environmental area. The proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit like a walkway. The proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and fail to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation for renewable energy opportunities. Will the proposed action impact existing public-private water supplies, public-private wastewater treatment utilities? Will the proposed action compare the character or quality of historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? Will the proposed action result in adverse change in natural resources? Will the proposed action result in an increase in potential for erosion, flooding, and drainage problems? Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources of human health? Based on the answers given, does anyone at this time want to make a finding of no significant impact for purposes of safe
motion's made, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Alright, seniors pass, we're good. Do we then now have a motion to change the zone from O2 to C2 at 806 Oberpool Road? Do we have a second?
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Young? Aye. Counselor Paul? Yes. Counselor Fisher?
Yes.
Counselor Carter?
Yes.
Supervisor Curry?
Yes. Good luck, guys. Thank you. Yep. Yep. Alright. Next up is residents wishing to speak.
First up, I have Anthony.
3 minutes. Name, address for the record.
Okay.
Anthony Willie, 141 there. Council board members, as a homeowner, is line to manage the education, nutritional, and therapeutic benefits of backyard chickens. Backyard chickens are more than delightful animals that are a source of organic eggs, natural insect control, a rich source of compost for vegetable gardens, and enriching educational assets for children to learn responsibility and compassion for animals. Firmly, our local code defines domestic animals to include common household pets such as dogs, cats, fish, hamsters, and birds typically kept indoors. However, this definition excludes all farm animals, including poultry. This limitation not only restricts our ability to enjoy the many benefits of raising chickens, but also hinders our community's potential for sustainability and self-sufficiency. Imagine the joy of having fresh organic eggs right from your backyard. Picture children learning responsibility in nature as they care for their chickens. Chickens can also contribute to our environment in natural pest control and enriching the soil with their droppings. They are friendly, quiet animals that can foster a sense of community and connection among neighbors. Yet our current town ordinance severely limits our ability to raise these useful and pleasant creatures. Other cities and towns across the country have recognized the value that backyard chickens bring to their communities. For instance, New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago all allow for the raising of backyard chickens with certain regulations. By coming together as a community, we have a unique opportunity to advocate for a change in this ordinance. If we unite to express our support for backyard chickens, we can present a compelling case to our local officials, highlighting the positive impact this change could have on our neighborhood's quality of life. So I want to propose that we change it. We have a petition.
Perfect. Brendan? What am I? Oh, you already gave it to the clerk. All right, so you guys presented your petition to the town clerk, and your office is going to review it, make sure that everything is good, and we'll proceed with what the next steps potentially are. And if there are any questions or concerns, we can reach out to you guys.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Thank you. All right. Anybody else?
Tyler Walco.
If you did not sign up, after everybody that did sign up spoke, I do ask if there's anybody else wishing to speak, okay? Just give your name and address for the record,
Tyler Walco, 101 Maple Lane.
and you have 3 minutes, okay?
Alright, so first I did want to also talk about the chickens. So I'm here as a resident of town of Salina, as a mother and someone who has grown up with a profound appreciation of the backyard chickens and what they can bring to a family and a community. I have 2 boys under the age of 2, and I want to raise them with the same values of responsibility, care, and connection that I learned as a child. When I was growing up, I spent time with my grandmother helping her care for her chickens, feeding, collecting eggs, cleaning the coop, and taught me patience, consistency, and respect for the animals. These lessons that did stick with me, obviously, because I'm here, right? I want to talk about the chickens. So they are also things that I do want to pass on to my children. So backyard chickens offer far more than fresh eggs. The one hen can lay up to 300 a year, often with more omega-3s and less cholesterol than store-bought options. They also eat pests like ticks, mosquitoes, and even grubs, making our yards more enjoyable without the use of chemicals. But what a lot of people don't often realize is how fascinating chickens actually are. They have a social order, which is called a pecking order, where each bird knows its role in the flock. They're also surprisingly smart. Studies show that they can recognize over 100 individual faces, solve simple puzzles, and even plan ahead. They're more like tiny dinosaurs than most people realize. In fact, they're the closest living relatives to the T-Rex. I have to add that because my oldest, who's going to be 2 in August, is obsessed with dinosaurs. So caring for chickens isn't just practical, it's educational and therapeutic. Watching a hen take a dust bath, the natural way to clean themselves, can be oddly calming. Children learn so much from these moments: biology, empathy, and even composting. Chickens happily eat more of our kitchen scraps, turning leftovers into fresh eggs and nutrient-rich fertilizer. Their droppings, when composted correctly, can create rich soil that supports home gardening and reduces waste to landfills. Some families even have reported lower grocery bills and more pollinators in their yard thanks to the companion gardens that come with chicken keeping. There's an entire small ecosystem that blossoms around the coop. And when it comes to concerns about noise or cleanliness, these are often based on myths. Hens are quieter than dogs, and with basic coop maintenance, there's also no odor. Plus, nearly 1,000 U.S. municipalities, including Syracuse, Rochester, and Buffalo, already allow backyard chickens under clear, common sense regulations. No roosters, secure enclosures, and reasonable flock size limits. In short, this is more than chickens. It's about sustainability, self-reliance, food education, and community values. For me, it's also about giving my kids the kind of upbringing I had, hands-on, grounded, and full of wonder. I really appreciate your time tonight, and I hope you guys have a good one.
Clifford Dale, did you want to speak again?
I wish I had mentioned to the developer that for the residents who are proposing, they improve the lighting on the north side of the building. It's really dark at night, wide open for anybody wants to scale a chain like that to cut their way in. There is lighting on the other side of the thruway, but none on that side used to be. It's all out.
Thank you.
Next night, Ellen Mullen.
Mark, Clifford, if you don't mind, can you repeat what Mark, can you take him out in the hallway quick or back there? And can you just repeat what you just said to him? He might be able to help you with that. Ellen, name and address for the record, please, if you have 3 minutes.
Ellen Mullen, 109 Richfield Boulevard. Nick, you always say that if you have a question, call or email you. I emailed you on June 5th. I'm still waiting for an answer. Why is Richfield Park Pool not going to be open this summer? In the fall last year, it was
I'm going
decided.
to answer you right now, Ellen, because there's a concerning thing that we have that's happening with you specifically.
With what?
With you specifically.
With me?
Yes. You have targeted me in public at grocery stores and at these meetings as a way in my office.
What are you
As a
talking
way
about?
I'm talking, as a way to attack me directly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to directly answer what your message is right there. The pool's closed because the third ward counselor to my left advocated for it to be closed the last 2 years. So that's why your pool is closed in Richmond. Do you have another question that's pointed towards me?
Why can't all the pools be open?
Because he's advocated for Richfield to be closed the last 2 years. Electronics is closed because there's a wall that's caving in and we don't have the funding to fix it currently. We are currently working on that to try to reopen.
But yet you buy into.
Have you asked your third
Big
ward?
lots.
Have you asked your?
Yeah, he said that it was all set for last fall, right, Dan?
Correct. We sat in our.
Well, I want to apologize to you that you got information that wasn't correct. Have you called our Parks Department and asked them?
No, I have not.
Okay. So there's a multitude of different avenues for you to handle things. But what you have done instead is attack me.
I've never attacked you, Nick.
I have emails from you mocking you.
I'd like to say.
Okay, I will pull them up afterwards and I will show you exactly what you said. But
Okay.
my point to you is, every single meeting that you have come with accusations like this that are extremely pointed and specific to me. And I'm telling you that if you have a problem, come to my office and sit with me personally, and you can do that. And we will go through all of your questions together.
I just emailed you,
And I'm telling you,
and you didn't answer.
you can come to my office, and we can sit down and go over all of your questions, one by one. And I will bring in every different department head, if it handles to different departments, and we can go over all of them. But since I have been the supervisor, and you keep looking at the guy next to me, because I know that he has been the one that's been putting you up here every
No, he
single time
has
with the
not.
questions.
No, he is
So
not.
back to my point, if you're interested, you're more than welcome to come and meet with me personally, and we'll go over everything. But if I have to walk through a Wegmans again, and you scoff at me or make a comment at me when I'm walking through.
I never made a comment at you in Wegmans.
That's for you to say that.
That's right.
Fair, that's fine. I'm telling you what I know happened. Back to my point. If I have to continue to do this, I'll be very, very frustrated. All I'm asking for is a little decency. And if you have a problem, come to my office and we will work on it together. If you don't want to do that, then I'm sorry. But we can't continue to do what's happening for the last 3 years since I've been a supervisor, okay?
I'm sorry you feel that way.
I appreciate the apology. Do we have anybody else signed up to speak? Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak? Yes, come on up. And then if you don't mind, it looks like you have 2 other ladies, you're all with one organization. What I'm gonna ask you to do is to give your name and address for the record, but also your organization, okay?
Sure.
Then you get 3 minutes, okay?
Okay, I will try to talk fast. My name is Karen Anzac, I can spell that if you like. Antzczak. I live at 103 Bungalow Terrace, that's in Syracuse. I'm part of a group that is based in Liverpool. Animal Alliance of Greater Syracuse, AGS, is a not-for-profit organization with historical and ongoing ties to the Liverpool area. We advocate for legal and philosophical changes that support animals and the safety net that is needed to help them. We work for programs that benefit animals but also humans. For example, we promote low-cost spay and neuter for companion animals. We also partner with several other animal welfare organizations, including Humane CNY, Kitty Corner, Purpose Farm Sanctuary. AGS has been following the situation in the town of Salina, where the resident Heather is pushing for the town government, and others are doing as well, obviously, to allow backyard poultry. AGS loves chickens, ducks, turkeys, and other fowl. They are smart, with individual personalities, and they are creatures who, like other sentient beings, feel pain and fear. However, AGS strongly believes we do not need any more poultry in a primarily urban, suburban setting, such as the town. The majority of townships in Onondaga County agree, and we hope that those who want to interact with backyard chickens will realize there are more appropriate settings in which to do so, such as traditionally agricultural areas. Ms. Wick, Heather, points out that backyard chickens have social benefits, and they do. But those seeking to interact with them can receive that benefit by visiting at or volunteering with a rescue or a sanctuary. Chickens are themselves social beings and need to be in a flock. Therefore, proper care would require more than one bird for someone who likes and wants to keep them. Heather argues they have emotional benefits as seen by her children who interact with their current cats, dog, lizard, rabbit, etc., and we do agree. But here are some of the basics of poultry rearing. Chicks and ducklings are often sent through the mail for startup customers or to box stores. Only females are supposed to be distributed, but males sometimes get through. Roosters are not wanted because they don't play nice with others. The males are discarded as babies. What a nice message to send to children. Or we found the trend is that they are just let go by the backyard hobby farmers upon realizing they are raising a rooster instead of a hen. Chickens, etc., who are left to fend for themselves do not read maps. Thus, not only will you have birds running about your town, but in unappreciative nearby villages and cities. One of your members asked Heather to work out arrangements with the sanctuary so that undesirable roosters or hens could be deposited there. While we will applaud your thinking of the humane solution, pipelining roosters to our already overstretched sanctuaries and shelters would be very unkind and unjust. AGS considers the emotional and physical effects on the birds. When backyard chickens are let loose, cheaply sold or given away, those increased numbers in your area will subject them to being hit by vehicles, attacks by dogs, fox, etc., and cruelly used by criminals. And if AGS works with law enforcement, we can certainly give you examples. Heather talks about the environmental benefits of backyard chickens. However, unless there's proper sanitary planning in large spaces, it's hard to keep up with their dung, with the smell and the noise, even just from the hens, not to mention if your neighbor is keeping a rooster. They do consume insects, as someone mentioned, including ticks, but their coops, unless they're kept in pristine conditions, often attract flies, etc. They also need to be free roaming to have any real impact on bugs. Their presence and food source will also attract rodents and predators. And from years ago, AGS knows that the board has struggled, not all of you, but those in the past, with addressing these problems like fox, etc., with their residents. The Eggs has also witnessed the town struggle in the past with residents being bothered by community cats.
So-
Is that my time?
Your time's up. What
Okay.
I'm gonna also offer to you, and then to the others that I
Let's
think
see that.
everybody spoke with something written out.
Mhm.
I'm gonna offer that you give it to our clerk, so that
Okay.
it's included in our town minutes.
Okay. Okay.
And our clerk will also be able to share that with the rest of the board. Have you
Okay.
guys emailed the board?
I
Has
did
your
email
organization,
this.
has your organization emailed the town?
Purpose Farm has emailed,
Okay.
which is the most nearest sanctuary, if you will, and was asked to help.
Yeah, we got an email from
Okay,
somebody. I
let me
thought-
see Andy Seaver.
Was it Purpose Farms?
Okay, yeah.
That said very similar stuff. So
Okay.
I apologize.
That's
to cut you
okay,
off.
we knew it would be short. It's better than the city where they give us 1 minute. But unless you've had the joy of running around on your porches looking for birds out in the city, I really hope that you guys will be positive about doing it.
Thank you so much. And then again, to the other two, please share your written comments with our clerks as well, if you would like it to be included in the minutes in detail, okay? With that, are there anybody else wishing to speak?
Can I actually ask another question? I know I've already spoken, I know it was another issue that I was wanting to ask about.
Sure, if it's a separate issue, sure.
I don't have anything right now for this one, so I apologize.
It's okay.
But, I wanted to ask about, Bailey Road, the, light at the end of the Bailey Road that, crosses with,
Buckley?
no,
Route 11?
Route 11.
Okay.
So I live on Maple Lane, I have young kids, there's a lot of young kids, and on my street now, that whole neighborhood is actually getting, a lot younger. Actually, I think I did, message you, Daniel, last year about this. I just wanted to know if there was a possibility where we could get a petition going for changing that light to a normal stoplight, because it causes a lot of,
What type of stoplight is it currently?
so it's only a, if you're going down Bailey and you're heading towards Mattydale.
Oh, you wanted a two-way turn?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, alright.
It's a state light, we'd have to bring it up to the state.
I did bring it up to the state at one point, and they gave me the runaround. They kept telling me, it's either a town thing or it's a state thing. I called a couple of DOTs.
Yeah, what I'm gonna suggest you do, I can't promise you that this is gonna go anywhere, but what you can do is, Mark, can we talk about this tomorrow? And maybe, okay.
I'm also making a phone call right now to the state, guy that does the lights.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I don't think it's probably gonna go anywhere, but we will at least have a conversation with the state DOT for you. And
Yeah, just like I said, I did try calling a couple of different departments and they kept giving me different numbers, and then I messaged Daniel last year, through Facebook, I think it was. And, at the time, I had said something about the budget being overrun,
Yeah, so with we had the, comprehensive, or the corridor study that we had done, and there was some state people that were on that. They were, I think we're on the list for 2027 to have Route 11 paved, so that was like a part of it as well, so.
but hasn't part of it already been paved recently?
That was, they never told us they were doing that piece that got paved in that area.
Yeah, because I completely agree that that area, there's no bumps in that spot, which is, wonderful and everything, but at this point, like, I'm just, I'm a resident of Maple Lane, there's so many
No,
kids.
absolutely, so yeah,
there's a lot of cut-through traffic there.
It really is
and
bad.
we're aware of that. What we're gonna do is we'll contact the state DOT, we'll go where we can go. We have your contact information? Yeah, we're gonna get your contact information and we'll follow up with you once we have some more from them,
I
okay?
appreciate it,
All right.
thank you.
With that, is there anybody else wishing to speak? Seeing none, town board comments, first ward.
Really quick, as the weather is getting nicer and it's getting warmer out and people are enjoying the outdoor spaces, just make sure that you are staying safe and hydrating, please.
Second ward.
We're working with Art and the Juice on the electronics pool, to come up with the leaks and problems with the pool and get a price to move forward. We're doing our due diligence. I want to congratulate Haley on her beautiful baby girl that she just had 3 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And, also Liverpool is a place on Mondays and Wednesdays, they have concerts and music there, so if you get a chance, stop there.
Third ward.
Well, I didn't have anything. So in our budget meeting last fall, and the budget meeting before that, I I did say we should shut down Richfield Pool and turn it into a splash pad. So originally we were gonna have it closed last year, but then there was an issue at Sayre Park with their pump, so we ended up opening up Richfield to have 2 pools open, which is what we budgeted for. In our budget meeting, I again said, well, we can keep Richfield closed because Sayre was closed, and then the 4th Ward Councilor, Councilor Carney, said, no, we can close Sayre again, it was closed last year, we can just keep it closed and you can open Richfield. And the rest of the town board agreed with that after I said, are you sure? So it's in all my notes and in everything, and that's what I was told, and from that day, I was telling residents, Richfield Park is gonna be open. If this was to be changed, if somebody would have notified me, I would have had no issue with that, because again, the pools cost us a lot of money. We only budgeted for 2 pools to be open. When we have all 4 pools open, it costs us almost $250,000 a year.
More than that.
Yes, so when people complain, why don't we have a rec department, why don't we have this, why don't we have that? That's one of the main reasons, because of these pools and how expensive they are. So, if it was brought to my attention sooner, obviously I wouldn't have had to go the way that I did about telling residents that this is how it happened. So, this is everything that I have, it's in all my notes from our budgets, everybody agreed on it, and this was changed and shifted on me. Again,
To your point, Daniel, I'll make this comment. I know the 4th Ward Councilor or myself, neither of us had a conversation with the Parks Director about what pool was gonna be open and what pool was gonna be closed. In fact, he's the one that told me what one was going to be closed. But I will say this, you and the 4th Ward Councilor can make a decision, and it doesn't matter to me one or the other. I know what we have budgeted, we have enough to be budgeted for 2 pools, we have enough lifeguards for 2 pools. One of them is closed because it's in
we don't need to
can't
get
deal
into
with
the
it.
conversation.
So-
This is what it is, you came at me, this is what the conversation was, the town board agreed on it, things got changed behind closed doors, I was not notified, I tried calling, I tried emailing, I tried reaching out to people, and nobody reached out to me either. So, and I have never told anybody to come to a meeting and speak and say something. If they have something to say, that's their own personal agenda that they are doing. I will never tell someone to come and do something because I want them to. That's completely on that resident that decided to come and talk. I've never done that, so do not try to insult me and say that I've done it.
No. Okay. 4th Ward Councilor.
All right, thank you. So I want to touch on, we recently submitted an application to New York State regarding a home rule law. This was so we could put speed cameras up in the Lincoln school zone. I want to express my deep disappointment regarding that decision by New York State to deny our application for home rule law. The denial of the application feels like a setback for our efforts to enhance local governance and improve the quality of life for our residents. In a nutshell, you can have a kindergartner looking for seashells on a sidewalk, and then you can have someone not paying attention driving 40 miles an hour by a school. They could be paying attention driving 40 miles an hour by a school, but if they were paying attention, they wouldn't be driving 40 miles an hour. It's 20 miles an hour, bottom line. Deeply disappointed in New York State on that, and we're not going to give up. We have to find a way to enhance the safety of this area in the school zone. It's been going on for far too long. We need signage, and this was what we felt a great remedy and a step in the right direction. So, just stay on that.
I'm sorry. Can I ask Dave a quick question about?
It needs to happen right now.
Well, it's about. I'm confused. The presentation about doing that's being monitored. That's what you're talking about.
Correct.
That was axed by the state.
Correct.
Okay, that's all I need. Thank you.
So with that, I'll do comments. If you guys have questions, sometimes that does raise things. If you guys have questions, after the board meeting's completed, feel free to come up to any of the counselors with your questions and we will answer them. And if there's persistence afterwards, feel free to come to the next board meeting and speak on them during the public hearing, okay? But to that, I want to make a comment. The community center project has now been broken into 6 times. It is absolutely insane to me that this project has been broken into again this past weekend with over $18,000 stolen from the job site. Previously, it was $26,000 plus in materials stolen from the job site. The town is going to work with the contractors on a way to try to prevent this, but there's an issue in the community when this community center is now being broken into once every other month. I don't know what needs to be done. I'm asking the people that live in that neighborhood to be vigilant and help the town. The town has spent your money, tax dollars, to build this in a community in an effort to try to revitalize it and turn it around. And I'm going to put another point to it. We recently just made a job offer to a director of recreations to improve the recreations in the town of Salina. This individual came up from out of town, explored our town, and he actually said no to the job because of that community itself. He said, Nick, I see what you're doing there, and I appreciate the mission of the town and trying to improve this area. He said, but it's just not for me at this point. We are making an exerted effort to try to improve Mattydale, and I've made that a mission of mine since I've been the supervisor of this town. And I'm just frustrated at this point to have a phone call an hour before this meeting to learn of a 6th break-in at this community center. So, the town is going to do what it can do to help the general contractor at the same time to increase security on the site. But I'm asking the neighbors in that community to be extra vigilant as well in helping us secure that site. If you see something, please say something. If you know something, please say something. They tore out the electrical that was just put into our walls. They didn't take it that was just laying on site, they just took it right out of the walls. This is a continued setback that has gotten extremely frustrating for myself, for the contractors that are on site. They've never had something this terrible, this persistent happen. And obviously I'm very frustrated. So, if you know something, please let me know. And if you could, keep extra eyes on the site until we're completion. We are looking at completion mid-September, I think, sorry, Tom. September 19th is the date that I have. He just goes, yeah. He hates having a hard day. But September 19th is what the timeline looks like. So we're close to the finish line, but setbacks like this are only going to make it longer. And if we want to get this done, and we want to be able to celebrate this milestone, and we want to continue to do all the things that are planned for that community over the next year or two, we need to be a little bit more vigilant. With that, do we have a motion to approve the May 12th, 2025 minutes? Do we have a second? Second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Next is town engineers report. There's 2 revocable licenses, 14927 Driftwood, the other 4897 Driftwood. Are there any concerns with either of these revocable licenses?
No, they're replacing existing fences with new fences. There's no drainage, so it's new.
Is there a motion to approve the revocable license for 4927 Driftwood Drive? Is there a second?
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Jones? Aye. Counselor Paul? Yes. Counselor Cisarotti?
Yes.
Counselor Carney?
Yes.
Supervisor Carroll?
Yes. Is there a motion to approve the revocable license for 4897 Driftwood Drive?
Motion. Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Jones? Aye. Counselor Paul? Yes. Counselor Cisarotti?
Yes.
Counselor Carney?
Yes.
Supervisor Carroll?
Yes. Is there a motion to approve installation of 3 fire hydrants on Jewel Drive, Emerald Drive, and Victoria Park Drive?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Jones? Aye. Counselor Paul? Yes. Counselor Cisarotti?
Yes.
Counselor Carney?
Yes.
Supervisor Carroll?
Yes. Is there a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign the EEO? What does EEO stand for?
Equal employment opportunity.
You. Agreement for the ZEV. Man, Paula. That's the Zero Emission Vehicle Grant. This is something that we were awarded actually within months of me becoming supervisor over 3 years ago. It's kind of been a train wreck dealing with the state, but they just said that they need us to sign this agreement for us to move on to the next phase. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Jones? Aye. Counselor Paul? Yes. Counselor Cisarotti?
Yes.
Counselor Carney?
Yes.
Supervisor Carroll?
Yes, the next two items are change orders for the community center. One of them is $3,105 for HVAC. The other is for $8,500 that is actually being credited back to the town. So the town's getting some money back for the second one. So we got to authorize the first change order from Airside Technology for the community center HVAC in the amount of $3,105. Do we have a second?
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Downs? Aye. Counselor Paul? Yes. Counselor Ciccarelli?
Yes.
Counselor Carney?
Yes.
Supervisor Farrell?
Yes. The next one is to accept the change order credit from CNS Companies in the amount of $8,500. Do we have a second?
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Downs? Aye. Counselor Paul? Yes. Counselor Ciccarelli?
Yes.
Counselor Carney?
Yes.
Supervisor Farrell?
Yes. The next one is to approve road paving for 2025. There's two different motions that need to be made with this.
Correct, you need to accept the paving list from the highway superintendent.
Do we have a motion to accept the paving list from the highway superintendent? Do we have a second?
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Downs? Aye. Counselor Paul? Yes. Counselor Ciccarelli?
Yes.
Counselor Carney?
Yes.
Supervisor Farrell?
Yes. The next one is,
We also have to resolve to enter into the 284 agreement with the highway department, as well as for the financing of the pavement.
So we're under,
barely, 20,000.
I mean, that's good.
Yeah, he usually comes in about that much. Yeah, that's.
I didn't know if you could have squeezed another line, I never would have.
Yeah.
Probably could, so.
No. Well, he likes to keep about that much, just in case, yeah.
We do have.
If he wants to throw another road on later, he can. He's done that in the past. Do we have a motion for the 284? Do we have a second?
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Downs? Aye. Counselor Paul? Yes. Counselor Ciccarelli?
Yes.
Counselor Carney?
Yes.
Supervisor Farrell?
Yes, the next one is to authorize the supervisor to sign the extension request submitted by CNS Companies for construction management services at the community center. This is for the board's sake. I've talked to a few of the board members. This is budgeted for, this is not an increase. What it is doing is amending the construction management services that was supposed to end the last day of this month. This is going to extend it through the completion of the project, the end of September, right? Yeah. So again, like I said, this is budgeted for. There's no transfers or any of that issue. This is just for the logistics of extending the contract.
Motion.
We have a second.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Downs? Aye. Counselor Paul? Yes. Counselor Ciccarelli?
And before I got a couple of comments on this, so, just so people are aware, obviously, I had no idea about any of these break-ins, and that's terrible, but outside of that, just from some due diligent things of CNS Companies originally put us behind on this project, as far as, signing off on saying that, the soils were taken care of and then finding out that they weren't. Then we had to, they didn't apply for a permit for a crane, which pushed us back another 45 days. Then we had to make sure that we had stuff for pouring concrete into the winter, which is an additional expense there. And then we had other changes due to a staircase needing additional landing, which was forgot about in this original design. So that total in all these change orders has cost us almost $250,000 and pushed us back from potential spring or early summer finish date to now in the middle of fall. So because of that, I'm voting no.
Counselor Carney?
Yes.
Supervisor Farrell?
Yes. Anything else, Mr. Engineer? Next is the town attorney's report. We have a resolution adopting the local law for the change of zone to I-1 for properties at or around Terminal Road. We've had a public hearing on this. We had a 60-day public comment period. We have Onondaga County Planning's comments. We're good to go to vote on this. Is there a motion?
We have to do a secret first, sorry.
We didn't do a seeker when we.
No, we did
Okay.
not.
All right. Do we have a motion then?
Motion.
Do we have a second? Joe, go ahead. All in favor?
Aye.
Joe, go ahead.
Will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulation? Will the proposed action result in a change in use or intensity of use of land? Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics of the establishment or the environmental area? Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect the system of the mass transit link or walkway? Will the the proposed action cause an increase in use of energy and fail to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation and renewable energy opportunities. The proposed action impact existing public-private water supply, public-private wastewater treatment utilities. The proposed action impair the character, quality, and important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources. The proposed action result in negative change in natural resources. The proposed action result in increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems. The proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources. Based upon the answers given, does anyone want to make a motion finding no significant motion versus seeker?
Motion made. Do we have a second? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right. With that, now do we have a motion? We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second, clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Downs. Aye. Counselor Paul. Yes. Counselor Cicero.
Yes.
Counselor Carney.
Yes.
Supervisor Curran.
Yes. Next is a resolution authorizing the supervisor to sign form delegating authority to submit hazardous waste reports and or site ID forms to federal and state agencies related to the Lake Creek Superfund site. This is an annual thing, right?
Yeah, just Lake Creek housekeeping stuff.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Downs. Aye. Counselor Paul. Yes. Counselor Cicero.
Yes.
Counselor Carney.
Yes.
Supervisor Curran.
Yes. The next one is a resolution authorizing the supervisor to sign an amended order on consent related to the Lake Creek Superfund site, subject to final legal review. Do we have a motion? Do we have a second? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Downs. Aye. Counselor Paul. Yes. Counselor Cicero.
Yes.
Counselor Carney.
Yes.
Supervisor Curran.
Yes. The next is a resolution authorizing the supervisor to sign the First Amendment to Solar and Storage Lease Agreement. Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Downs. Aye. Counselor Paul. Yes. Counselor Cicero.
Yes.
Counselor Carney.
Yes.
Supervisor Curran.
Yes. Mr. Attorney, is there anything else?
That's it.
Town Comptroller, report. Approved budget modifications and transfers, $188, from the contingent fund to $188 in insurance for the 002, to cover last insurance bill of 2025. And then the other one is $28,000 out of the transfer to capital, 22 engineering services. This was budgeted to cover 222 Terminal Road soil study and electronics pool task authorizations with CNS engineers. One of them was with CNS engineers, the others with B&L. Terminal Road soil study, I think I've mentioned this is designating it as a brownfield. This is what we're going through to designate that site as a brownfield. Do we have a motion for the budget modification transfers? Do we have a second?
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Downs. Aye. Counselor Paul. Yes. Counselor Cicero.
I've said it before, I said it again, we've dumped way too much money in the years into electronics pools, so no.
Counselor Carney.
Yes.
Supervisor Curran.
Yes. Next is a motion to create the Aldenwood Drive Culvert Capital Project. This is a project that is funded by the state. In total, we will be getting over $1 million in grant funds by the time it's done. This is just first to create the capital project. Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Downs. Aye. Counselor Paul. Yes. Counselor Cicero.
Yes.
Counselor Carney.
Yes.
Supervisor Curran.
Yes, the next is a motion to authorize a loan of $500,000 from the general fund for the Aldenwood Drive Culvert project until project reimbursement is complete. $500,000, it will just cover the startup costs when we start getting reimbursements. Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Downs. Aye. Counselor Paul. Yes. Counselor Cicero.
Yes.
Counselor Carney.
Yes.
Supervisor Curran.
Yes, the next is a motion to create the sewer back truck capital project. We didn't happen to do that, when we bonded for it. And we don't have to do a motion for it because the bonding is specific to that project, right? We just have to create the capital project. Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Downs. Aye. Counselor Paul. Yes. Counselor Cicero.
Yes.
Counselor Carney.
Yes.
Supervisor Curran.
Yes, next is a motion to close the electronics parking lot project and return remaining funds to general fund. This is a project 2 years old. It has finally come to completion and we received our last bill. We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Downs. Aye. Counselor Paul. Yes. Counselor Cicero.
Yes.
Counselor Carney.
Yes.
Yes,
Supervisor Curran.
next is authorize the supervisor to sign agreement with Ben Gear for IT equipment and setup at the community center. this is already a budget expense, this is just an agreement with them. Do we have a motion? Do we have a second? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Downs? Aye. Counselor Paul? Yes. Counselor Cicero?
Yes.
Counselor Carney?
Yes.
Supervisor Farrell?
Yes. The next one is to consider the aquatic tournament submitted by the Parks and Recreation Department. Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Downs? Aye. Counselor Paul? Yes. Counselor Cicero?
Yes.
Counselor Carney?
Yes.
Supervisor Farrell?
Yes. The next is consider park labor appointments submitted by the Highway Department. There's two on here. One of them is to the end of December, it's December 31st. I don't know if that is a question for the rest of you. It's raised an eyebrow for me. I don't have an issue with the appointments. I don't think the one needs to be till the end of the year. If you want to change that.
We've made it a point to not allow that, they have to come back to us in the fall and justify why they would do that.
So we'll change that appointment to September 1st. So one of them is August 29th. The other one is September 1st is when it'll end. Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Downs? Aye. Counselor Paul? Yes. Counselor Cicero?
Yes.
Counselor Carney?
Yes.
Supervisor Farrell?
Yes. Next is consider a liquor license for the Cool Time Club located at 2721 Brewerton Road. There is no action that needs to be taken on that, and the applicant actually called today and said that he doesn't want the 30-day waiting period waived. He doesn't need it, so we don't need to take any action unless there's comment. The next is to authorize the town to sell surplus John Deere garden tractor with mowing deck, rear wheel weights to Auctions International. Do we have a second?
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Downs? Aye. Counselor Paul? Yes. Counselor Cicero?
Yes.
Counselor Carney?
Yes.
Supervisor Farrell?
Yes, do we have an authorization to clean up orders as listed on the agenda? Do we have a second?
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Downs? Aye. Counselor Paul? Yes. Counselor Cicero?
Yes.
Counselor Carney?
Yes.
Supervisor Farrell?
Yes, the supervisor's report is included in the agenda. Are there any comments on that? Seeing none, we do have to go into executive session. There will be, I believe, 2 votes taken after executive session. So, Joe, do we have a motion to go into executive session for personnel purposes? Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.